Hello and welcome to another edition of Foreign Dispatches, the program that takes you around the world in 25 minutes. I'm Layo Olaride. We begin the program in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Recent severe flooding caused by torrential rains has displaced thousands of people in the country. Many residents in Kinshasa, the capital, and Uvira region are trying to get back on their feet after the flood swept away their houses and livelihoods.
After days of torrential rain in the Democratic Republic of Congo, Kinshasa is paralyzed with the deadly floods. Many homes in West Kinshasa have been swept away following flooding overnight. About half of the city's 26 districts are affected in total, according to the capital's mayor, who says search and rescue teams are out. Worst affected are the city's outskirts as well as some of its poorest neighborhoods. Hundreds stranded on a major road in the city, while a long line of traffic is seen snaking its way over the horizon. Locals are shown wading through the waterlogged streets as crews conduct search and rescue operations.
The flooding started yesterday around 7 a.m., but we didn't know it was happening in our avenue. As usual, we know that the church nearby is often submerged when it rains. It was around 4 p.m. that we were surprised by the flooding in our houses. We lost everything and were forced to go out onto the main road to spend the night with our children and wives.
The disaster has been exacerbated by the overflowing Njili River, which has cut the city into two, preventing access for half of its residents to the country's main airports.
The Ndili River overflowed its banks. I came to attend the service, but there was no way to access the church next door. The entire building is flooded from the ground level down, even the neighboring churches.
The deluge has reportedly left thousands in the city, around 17 million people without shelter, electricity, and clean drinking water. In Uvira of South Kivu province, residents found their homes flooded as Lake Tanganyika rises. Houses, fields, and other infrastructure are inundated as locals walk along flooded streets to reach their swamp homes. Sandbags are stacked in front of houses along the shore to prevent the rising deluge.
We arrange bags here to access our houses. The inside of the house itself is filled with water. We try to empty the water all the time. What scares us the most are the snakes. The waves bring snakes and a lot of waste, which also causes illness. These are the difficulties we're living with.
She also notes the challenging living conditions residents face, which results in the spread of disease and a shortage of potable water.
We're suffering from a lack of latrines, recurring flooding, snakes, and the lack of drinking water. We're really suffering and we don't know what to do.
I took refuge here. Our home is on the other side, but the water forced us to move to these houses that were in somewhat good condition. And now the water has reached here too.
President of the Environmental Civil Society in Uvira, Serge Melida Kitambala, accuses the DRC government of failing to deal with the problem.
De 1964 à nos jours, nous observons.
The period from March, April, May is a time when local residents are truly exposed to rising water levels. The period from September to November is a time when local residents observe a decrease in the lake's water level. And as a result, when they observe the decrease, they embark on uncontrolled construction projects in spaces left by the lake.
La période de septembre jusqu'à novembre. Le bassin qui est dirigé par la structure régionale autorité de la.
So our government doesn't show any willingness to supervise and protect the residents of the Lake Tanganyika Basin in the DRC's ecological zone. But there's also a problem of poor outreach.
De la RDC.
Lake Tanganyika has entered its rising period over the past 2 years, causing widespread devastation with over 3,000 homes submerged and more than 36,000 people displaced as of January. It comes as the DRC reels from the armed conflicts with M23 militants in the east, which has left more than 7,000 people dead and millions displaced.
In South Sudan, the country stands at a dangerous crossroad as rising political tensions threaten to derail a fragile peace deal in the country. And this is amid growing fears of renewed conflict in the world's youngest nation that's already buckling under a deepening humanitarian crisis.
Tens of thousands of people who fled violence during the brutal civil war that raged across South Sudan in 2013 found sanctuary in this camp next to the United Nations peacekeeping base in Juba. 12 years later, many remain as they feel unable to return safely to their original homes and are reliant on humanitarian support. They now face a fresh threat with clashes between forces aligned with the two main parties to the peace agreement taking place in several locations across the country and political tension soaring in the capital. This is Angelina Nyang-Char, a resident of the displacement camp.
We are feeling unsafe and we need unmissed patrols to increase and also for the camp to be securely fenced because if people move outside, they can meet their deaths. We are not sure who these killers are, but we know they are around us.
With the signing of the revitalized peace agreement and ceasefire in 2018, the security situation began to stabilize. In 2020, the UN mission in South Sudan transitioned almost all the displacement sites which had been under UN protection for 7 years into conventional camps under the responsibility of the government. However, with fears rising that the peace agreement will collapse and the country relapse into war, the mission intensified its presence around and within the camp, patrolling by day and night to reassure residents of their safety.
Our mandate is the protection of civilians. So that's the main one reason why we patrol during the night. And another main reason is to make the IDPs feel secured.
The patrols are encountering some challenges, including access denial in some areas dominated by government forces. While acknowledging their right and responsibility to ensure safety and security of their own citizens, it's also important for UN peacekeepers to be able to discharge their duty to protect civilians.
In light of the current security developments, we recognize through our engagements with the communities and the displaced persons that there are some concerns about their safety and their future. As United Nations Police, we have engaged through the communities, actively patrolling, being present in the areas, and in an aim to help them feel safer.
Yeah, majorly UNMISS is always around and respond when we need their presence. So they help us supporting us in form of information, support us in also guarding the camp.
Protection is only one part of the mission's efforts to resolve the tension. Intensive political engagement is also underway, alongside regional and international partners, to convince the country's leaders to stop the fighting, return to the peace agreement, and move South Sudan forward together towards the better future it deserves.
In Ghana, sculpture artist Kwame Akoto Bamfo has created thousands of heads in memory of African ancestors who drowned as they were being transported across the Atlantic Ocean as slaves. His ancestor project portrays Africans who were imprisoned, kidnapped, or coerced into slavery.
Ghanaian artist Kwame Akoto Bamfo creates a striking display at the Yinkin Museum showing thousands of clay head sculptures representing enslaved Africans taken from the continent by Europeans to face a life of constant struggle. In Adafo, a town, hundreds of heads are featured with different facial expressions regarded as a visual archive of African history and culture during the period of colonialism.
My work and what I do is as a result of tackling the legacies of African enslavement and colonialism, but not necessarily to tell the story of slavery. Now, in dealing with the legacies of colonialism, African enslavement, the miseducation of the African, you will have to tackle African enslavement.
The sculptures represent the largest and most prominent ethnic group in Ghana, which is called the Kans, to which the artist belongs.
Bringing in these expressions did not isolate the process, because each sculpture is comforted by the idealistic, the communal ideal, the communal spirits. That's why you find various sculptures, some very calm and looking beautiful, in dialogue with the ones that are tortured. It's to comfort them. That is the way.
The sculptures, which are part of the Ancestor Project, were designed to shed light on some aspects of the continent's history that are often overlooked, including the contribution of African soldiers in the First and Second World Wars.
Europeans are not comfortable to talk about, like people in the West who perpetrated it, they're not comfortable to talk about that. People in the Middle East, because there was also the Trans-Saharan and then the Arabian slave trade. Nobody wants to, like, it's not comfortable. Like, I don't want to admit that I was part of it. I don't want to admit that my ancestors were part of it. I don't want to admit that my ancestors were enslavers and that maybe my current wealth is as a result of something that some of my ancestors did in the past. And I don't want to admit that I am part of a system that continues to enslave people of African descent.
Following decades of slavery, Ghana proclaimed independence from Britain in March 1957. Akoto Bamfo's journey began with a single head sculpted in 2009, but today his vision stretched to 11,111 sculptures, a number which symbolizes unity for the artist.
I have a vision or a duty to create 11,111 sculptures telling the story of Africa. But that is not necessarily bound to the creation of funerary art. Because with the funerary art, it doesn't end. I didn't start the tradition, and I will not end the tradition.
With a history of exhibiting in public spaces rather than closed art galleries, Akoto Bamfo's work advocates freedom.
Colombia is pioneering a transformative approach to addressing its housing crisis by deploying advanced 3D printing technology. This innovation marks a significant leap towards providing affordable and sustainable housing solutions for Colombia's homeless and displaced populations. Take a look.
Thanks to 3D printing technology, many low-income families in Colombia's Antigua region will benefit from new homes. This innovative initiative is the first of its kind implemented in South America. Danielle Duque, an executive at Future Tech, explained that the idea emerged 2 years ago to provide solutions to Colombia's housing shortage. It started at a laboratory scale, then moved to a pilot scale, and in the future, the goal is for this technology to become industrialized.
At a laboratory scale, we started developing something very important: the inks, the printed material. These inks are made with the cement we produce in our plants, combined with aggregates and additives. We began working on this here at the Innovation Center using a robotic arm.
The construction company in charge states that this new method is much more efficient than conventional techniques, as build time is significantly reduced.
We construct the walls, leaving spaces for the columns, and then we create reinforcement beams. In this house, all the walls can be printed in 15 hours. That's the time it takes. Normally, using traditional processes, this could take up to 9 days.
In this initial phase, 2 concrete-based houses are being built, which will be delivered in April this year. The homes have an area of 60 square meters and were designed to fit the climatic and geographical conditions of the municipality of Antioquia.
We have to learn how to operate the machine and allow the material to flow, set, and support its own weight so that the walls of a building, such as a house, don't collapse.
To carry out the project, it was necessary to transport the largest 3D printer in South America from the National University of Colombia, where it is housed, to the locality to manufacture the walls and other architectural elements on site.
And in India, a steel man of the country has set a Guinness World Record for holding Hercules pillars. The record-breaking feat took place in Surat, Gujarat, where Karadi demonstrated his exceptional strength by holding the massive pillars for an astonishing 2 minutes and 10 seconds. Each of the pillars weigh 160 kilograms. Take a look.
Vispi Karadi, affectionately dubbed the Steel Man of India, has won a prestigious Guinness World Record for holding Hercules pillars for an impressive 2 minutes and 10.75 seconds. His extraordinary accomplishment involved lifting pillars weighing 166.7 kg and 168.9 kg. The feat has garnered the attention of Elon Musk, who shared a video of Karadi's triumphant moment on social media.
The Hercules pillar stunt was done on 11th of November 2024, and that was predominantly done by the strongman athletes, those big athletes, large athletes. I respect them a lot. In fact, I also get inspired from them. But somehow I saw those records happening in front of me in Italy when I was there before the Guinness World Record show. And I thought I can do this stunt because I have a bit of confidence in my gripping strength. And I started practicing and I just attempted for the record. Hopefully and luckily I got the record.
The renowned athlete boasts multiple black belts, holds 16 Guinness World Records, serves as a trainer for BSF commandos in unarmed combat, and is also recognized as a fitness expert, nutritionist, actor, and model.
Currently I'm into fitness and martial arts. I'm a nutritionist also. And what I've been known for is my 16 Guinness World Records as of now. So I'll be going 100%. I'll be going for some more Guinness World Records in future very soon. And I want to encourage the youth and give a message out loud that we Indians can do unthinkable if we just think about it. We need to just focus on our goals and just go for it.
Karadi hails from Surat, a city in the western Indian state of Gujarat, and takes pride in shattering the stereotype that Indians are genetically predisposed to physical weakness. His victory is seen as a triumph for all Indians.
My message behind doing all these records was very clear. I want to clearly portray a message that Indians have very, very good genetics. We just need to push ourselves to certain limits and we can do it. And that's what our Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji is also conveying the same message worldwide. And I want to sync my message with him that yes, we Indians can do a lot better in all the subjects and all the parameters.
The pillars, inspired by Greek architecture, stand at 123 inches tall and feature a diameter of 20.5 inches. This stellar achievement, accomplished in November last year, caught the eye of tech billionaire Musk, leaving Karadi on cloud 9.
And finally, let's go enjoy a heart-pounding adventure on China's Hejin cliffside path. On the edge, visitors experience a high view with the thrill of walking a daring 210-meter-long walkway.
The Cliff Edge Walkway in Hejin, Yucheng City in North China's Shaanxi province is not for the faint-hearted. Visitors navigate the 40-centimeter wide path, which ascends from 127 meters to 140 meters in height, often concentrating on their footing rather than fully enjoying the breathtaking views. Wang Chong is an employee at the Yellow River Daitizi Cliff Scenic Spot. He says there is no safety hazard. You just have to be bold enough.
Feiyundu is our high-altitude, unguarded rock climbing path. The pathway is only 40 centimeters wide. It's unidirectional, with 2 cableways. The glass walkway comes from above, and the elevator passes from below. There is no way to go back to the middle, so it's one way. Our scenic spot uses the most secure safety harness in the country. It has no potential safety hazards as long as you're bold enough.
Drone footage captures the daring, exciting adventure as people traverse the 210-meter-long walkway, which provides stunning views of the surrounding canyon and the Yellow River below. Chong notes that the fastest time to complete the challenge was 5 minutes, but it usually takes tourists between 10 to 15 minutes to finish.
The fastest record to complete this is 5 minutes, and the average time for tourists to complete the challenge is about 10 to 15 minutes. As long as you are not afraid and can overcome this psychological fear, you are welcome to try this challenge.
This narrow path, clinging to the mountainside, offers an exhilarating sense of adventure.
It's my first time taking such a challenge. I spent several minutes walking here. During the walk, I heard a lot of screaming, but I didn't have time to scream as I was fully focusing on this challenge.
While on a thrilling adventure, safety measures such as railings and climbing safety belts allow visitors to immerse themselves in the scenery with confidence. The walkway also includes transparent glass sections, adding a thrilling perspective for climbers.
And that's the program today. Remember, our top stories are never far away. You can catch them on channelstv.com. Thank you for watching. I'm Layo Olarinde.